Harper Audio presents The Black Widow by Daniel Silva. Performed by George Guidall. The Black Flags will come from the east, led by mighty men with long hair and beards, their surnames taken from their hometowns. The Hadith. Give me a girl at an impressionable age, and she is mine for life. Muriel Spark, the prime of Miss Jean Brodie. Forward. I commenced work on this novel before the Islamic terrorist group known as ISIS carried out a wave of shootings and bombings in Paris and Brussels that left more than 160 people dead. After briefly considering setting aside the typescript, I chose to complete it as originally conceived, as though the tragic events had not yet occurred in the imaginary world where my characters live and work. The similarities between the real and fictitious attacks, including the links to the Brussels district of Molenbeek, are entirely coincidental. I take no pride in my prescience. I only wish that the murderous, millenarian terrorism of the Islamic State lived solely on the pages of this story. Part 1. Rue des Rosiers. Chapter 1. The Marais, Paris. It was Toulouse that would prove to be Hannah Weinberg's undoing. That night she telephoned Alain Lambert, a contact at the Interior Ministry, and told him that this time something would have to be done. Alain promised a swift response. It would be bold, he assured Hannah, boldness being the default response of a fonctionnaire when in reality he planned to do nothing at all. The following morning the minister himself paid a visit to the site of the attack and issued a vague call for dialogue and healing. To the parents of the 3 victims he offered only regrets. "We will do better," he said before returning hastily to Paris. "We must." They were 12 years of age, the victims. 2 boys and a girl, all Jewish, though the French media neglected to mention their religion in the first reports. Nor did they bother to point out that the 6 attackers were Muslim, only that they were youths who resided in a suburb, a banlieue, east of the city center. The description of the attack was vague to the point of inaccuracy. According to French radio, an altercation of some sort had occurred outside a patisserie. 3 were injured, 1 seriously. The police were investigating. No arrests had been made. In truth, it had not been an altercation but a well-planned ambush. And the attackers were not youths. They were men in their early 20s who had ventured into the center of Toulouse in search of Jews to harm. That their victims were children seemed to trouble them not. The 2 young boys were kicked, spat upon, and then beaten bloody. The girl was pinned to the pavement and her face slashed with a knife. Before fleeing, the 6 attackers turned to a group of stunned bystanders and shouted, "Khaybar! Khaybar! Ya Yahud!" Though the witnesses did not know it, the Arabic chant was a reference to the 7th century Muslim conquest of a Jewish oasis near the holy city of Medina. Its message was unmistakable. The armies of Muhammad, the 6 men were saying, were coming for the Jews of France. Regrettably, the attack in Toulouse was not without precedent or ample warning. France was presently in the grip of the worst spasm of violence against Jews since the Holocaust. Synagogues had been firebombed, gravestones toppled, shops looted, homes vandalized and marked with threatening